Well, hello, everybody. It's the spooktacular month of Halloween, or for some of us, Samhain. Happy New Year. Anyway, it is Chubs Gone Wild episode. Don't look at me like that. You know you love it. Episode 463, recorded on October 30th. 30th. Wow, that jumped. 3rd, 2022. Anything to say? Okay. It is
Yeah, stop pushing your birthday on people.
Oh, that's true. October 30th is my birthday, but this is the 3rd. So we've got 27 days left. Anyway, it is currently 88 degrees and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, where it is 7 days, just 7 days until Thanksgiving descends upon Canada. I can't wait for the photos. Anyway, it's also 27 days till Halloween. It is 52 till Thanksgiving, 77 until Hanukkah, 83 until Christmas, and 28 days, just 28 little days until TJ Zombie Girl officially retires.
So she's retiring this month.
Yeah, no, well,
Okay.
no, the day after Halloween.
So how's that correct then? About 28
Well,
days.
let's see. There's
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
so,
No. It's actually it does matter. Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were using the weekends or not.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons because they're freaking awesome. And that would be Clint Nephi Nick, DJ Stas, and from the universe. Viva Ask the Questions. Oh, Eric, Sean, Charles, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, Moose P. So please visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame if you would like to find out how you can join all those fun things to get so many perks for just $1 a month. Anyway, hi. I need to make a quick note here. One moment, please. Okay, done. Next up, what we got? Well, time to find out what happened in history, and you'll be very interested in this one because I know you were an addict to it, an absolute addict. At the end of a sensational trial, former football star O.J. Simpson is acquitted of a brutal 1994 double murder of his estranged wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman. In the epic 252-day trial, Simpson's dream team of lawyers, well, they employed creative and controversial methods to convince jurors that Simpson's guilt had not been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, thus surmounting that the persecution called a mountain of evidence implicating him in the murder. So, you were addicted to the TV at that time, didn't you? You watched every episode of that.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I remember at work when they announced it,
Mm-hmm.
everybody left their desk and ran to the lunchroom.
Oh,
And when they acquitted him, all the white people went, "Oh," and all the black people clapped.
huh. Yeah, I kind of remember that too, but I don't know.
But what was interesting was that uh, when asked why they clapped, it was like, "Oh, it's just nice to see a black guy get away with it, considering that white people always get away with murder." And it's like, okay, I can
Okay,
see
how
that.
can you argue with that, actually?
Yeah, I mean,
Huh?
I can see why the revelry with that, but gross.
Well, I mean, yeah, justice for anyone of any, yeah, that's just sad and fucked up. But again, I can't kind of argue their logic. So, all right, moving on. That was a horrible time because it interrupted lots of TV shows, and I had to sit and watch that stupid chase because it interrupted everything, and I only had network TV at the time. It was really
Oh,
horrible.
yes. See, that's why streaming was so good.
That's true. That's true. We would have had something else to watch anyway. Hey, it's time for entertainment history, and I got a question for you, sir. What was oh wait, name 3 top 10 films of 1990.
1990. See, 91 is easier because I remember 91, 90. Was that Dances with Wolves year?
Um, not in top 10.
And it wasn't. I don't know.
Okay. That's an acceptable answer. We'll talk about which ones there were when we get to the trivia question, however. Okay. I know, but it works better that way. All right. Let's see. Okay, check day. Let's see if we accidentally celebrated any holidays. Well, today is Blue Shirt Day.
Is that a Star Trek thing?
No,
No.
that would have been a Red Shirt Day.
No,
This is kind of blue. I've kind of got a blue.
Oh, it's a Blockbuster or Best Buy. Which one?
Well, this is Captain America.
And what the fuck is the blue shirt about?
Oh, well, you know what? Actually, because you are so adamant about needing to know, I will actually look it up just for you. You know,
Oh, it didn't say.
doing
Okay,
that.
I don't care then. I don't care.
Okay. Oh, it's October is National Bullying Prevention Awareness Month, and on the first Monday of every October, all around the world, kids, teens, and adults participate in Blue Shirt Day, which is bullying prevention. Guess
I
what?
thought that was purple.
That's what I thought too, but
The purple shirt day probably came and said, "No, you can't use the purple. You have to use blue."
well, it was probably the red people that came and stole the holiday, and it became all right. Purple Shirt Day. Purple Shirt Day 2022. Okay. Oh, that it's International Epilepsy Day. I had a dog that had epilepsy. So
did we.
Yeah. It was
Yorkie.
oh ours was it was a poodle. It was pretty fucked up. Poor little guy. Okay. It's also Child Health Day, Day of Unity, the global smoothies. Look at the leaves. Mean Girls Appreciation Day. Oh, I appreciate all of you, and you know who you are. Anyway, National Boyfriend Day. Well, neither of us can celebrate that. Also, National Butterfly and Hummingbird Day. Caramel Custard. Oh, I'd celebrate that. Consignment, TV shows, techies. Oh, they got their own day. Virus Appreciation. Yeah, no. Also, we'd like to strike that from the record, sir. Architecture and World Habitat Day. So some good days there. Some rare days. All right. Well, today, please bear with me. Take a deep breath. Get your chakras aligned. And here is today's affirmation. I recognize my body as a good friend. Well, considering my good friends are usually kind of buttholes who, try to hurt me, yeah, we can go with that. All right.
I don't know. It sounds like you may be trying to kill your friend.
Oh, that's horrible. I'm trying to keep my friend alive.
Well, me too. But then I went to McDonald's when you said you were going to be late.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I got 2 McChicken sandwiches and $1 free dollar fries, large fries.
Did you?
Fries are still sucking though.
I got Reese's pumpkin.
I know. I'm just not that into candy anymore, girl.
You suck.
The tease doesn't work.
Well, that makes 2 of us, but it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Says the boy with the bag of candy.
It was 1.
And I did call you
2.
I called you a boy. That's nice.
That is a very nice.
Yeah.
What's happening? It's Mean Girls Day.
Well, that's just short for fat boy.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of, there was one
Damn
of
it.
those baseball Facebook videos where this guy was all like doing his little TikToky thing, and he's all, name one thing that straight people hate fat people for, or something like that.
Straight
And,
people?
no, I said it wrong. I'm sorry. The chocolate went through my head. What thin people hate straight people for. And this woman came on and she said simply existing. And it was like, whoa, that is super just that she nailed it. It's true. Then people, especially people that have to like, eat bird seed to survive because if they'll gain a pound or something like that, they just fucking hate us. They hate us and they hate our happiness. They hate our freedom.
Sure.
They're like communists.
Well, the only thing I dislike is that they tend to go on and on. Okay, guess what? We already knew we were fat. We've already been
Yeah.
picked on. We
Like,
don't
what the
need
fuck
to hear.
is that?
We don't need to hear it from you two. Go away.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of feel. It's like, Bill Maher has to go on and on about how, you know, obese people are, just making the COVID keep going on. And it's like, well, no, it's like people who didn't get vaccinated too. That's them. And
Well,
they're going, well, 60% of the people who died from COVID were overweight. Okay. Well,
mhm.
60% of the people in this country are overweight. So the odds are kind of there to play in your favor.
And you can be 5 pounds overweight and they call you super obese. So
Well,
just
that's true,
saying.
but that's
But
not really our situation, though.
Bill
But
Maher went from being the voice of reason to the voice of treason. So
oh,
I don't really listen to him anymore. Hmm.
I
Anyway,
listen to him because he's funny.
I would listen to him if he was funny, but he's not. Anyway, today we have birthdays coming up. So happy birthday to these people that I'll get to Lily and Cubby, also to Patty Taylor. That's
It's not his
author.
birthday.
Whose?
Cubby. Wait, is this a different Cubby?
I would think so. This is
Okay.
the Cubby with a K.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, because other Cubby had a big adventure, but we don't talk about that on this show. Also, let's see. Patty, author Taylor Rylan. Sorry, Rylan. Justin's birthday's coming up. Also, Wayne, who we used to work with from the radio. Also, we've got Bo and that podcast Gavin. Oh, he's so sweet. I love his beard. Also, Vitali, Andy, Karen, Richard. Richard's dead, girl. So, sorry. Also, Jason, Ron, Erdas. I'm probably gonna butcher that one. Oh, that sweet little Lexi Louise. Oh, she's Timmy's little girl. Also, Tomas, Randy, Giorgio, Angela, Tina, and Low. We'll just go with Low. All
Did
right.
you Hart Brockner's birthday is today? Remember Hart Brockner?
No.
He was really dreamy back during like I want to say it was the 80s and 90s,
Okay.
but and then Sean William Scott's birthday is today too.
Oh, I used to yeah, he was lovely.
Well, you know what's really scary?
Huh?
Well, not scary. I mean, it's scary. I don't know what the transition was, but okay. Remember, I think what was the girl's name? Captain Stubing's daughter that was on the boat.
Jill Whalen. How I
Jill.
know that, I have no idea.
So was her name Jill on the show? I think it was, wasn't it?
I no, Jill was the cruise director, I
No,
think.
that's Julie.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, I think it was Jill on there.
Okay. She turned 57 last week.
Wow.
See, it's weird when people who you thought were
Uh-huh.
either your own age or older than you are actually younger than you. It's
Yeah,
weird. It's very, very weird.
it is.
Because like the Brady kids, I'm right in between uh Michael Lucalan and Eve Plum
Ooh,
and birthday wise. So I would have been the boy born after um um um
Peter.
what's her name? Jan.
Oh, after Jan. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and it's just weird because I always felt like they must have been so much older than me.
I know it does feel that way.
It's like
I
Will Robinson's in his 70s.
That's so weird. I just, God, those things are so weird. Anyway, I know there's people out there who like, it's not weird, it's just aging. Well, I'm sorry, but for some of us going through it, it's weird. You'll understand when you get there.
Well, Sean now is doing this. What do you mean they're the father?
Right.
And I go, well, yeah, because you can be a father at 22, but they've got teenage kids. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
like
right. They did.
most of the friends that I had, like in my when I was like 18 or 19, they have kids that are either now going to college or have already been in college for a while. I'm like, no.
Well, when I was
Yeah,
in
it's
Los
like when I'm
Angeles,
looking at a 30-year-old guy and I'm like, damn, that's one hot daddy, and then realize, oh, I could be his daddy.
I was in Los Angeles trying to act, um,
Uh,
and I would go out for roles for teenagers, college students, and parents. It was
yeah,
just totally weird.
yeah.
Yeah,
They just fit that person in anywhere. And I'm talking about male, female, whatever. If you've got, they just, yeah. Anyway, oh, by the way, I just looked up Hart Faulkner and oh, wow, yum.
yeah,
I
he
don't remember him.
he was. I'm surprised he was in 16 a lot.
16. What is that?
The magazine that used to read,
Really? I don't
taking out the Corey Hart
yeah,
picture.
I used to read all that. Bop, Teen Beat, Teen 16, all of those fucking things. If I could get my grandmother to pay for them, I had them first of the month every time.
My friend who I wrote about in opening lines
Hmm.
actually did have the Sean Cassidy, David Cassidy, on the back of his dresser. So when I go over there, he goes, "Oh, you must. Here's the shroud. Yeah, here's the shrine to Cassidy's. Oh yes, oh yeah."
Oh,
And then his mother would never find it because it was connected to the back of the dresser,
well,
which
yeah,
is smart. It's very smart.
I that is really a great idea. Okay. So, back on track here. So that was birthdays. Thank y'all. And we did that. We did that. Okay, so we do have some feedback stuff here. Starting with Sean, who wrote in and said, read the advice column. The grandparents don't need to know. Tell the kid the truth when he's an adult. Why spoil whatever joy the grandparents may get from having a grandson? And if there's an inheritance left by them for the kid, why jeopardize that? See, I just think it's wrong. It's wrong. But I get it. No, if they're, especially if they're older, they've lost their only child, or just let them have it. It's all
It's what if like I said, if no one's abusive in all this,
right.
everybody's because I would rather have grandparents than not.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing, though. I guess for me, the reason that I'm a little sketchy on it, I mean, I'm for not telling them, but at the same time, my father's parentage, his whether his father was really his father or not, has been something that we kind of, like a few years before he died, kind of figured out that we don't think that he and maybe his sister had the same dad as the rest of the kids, but we were never really able to test that. I have a cousin who is supposed to take a DNA test so that we can kind of figure it out. But they raised him, saying that his dad was his dad, but of course his parents were very abusive. So yeah, my father, for whatever of an asshole he was, he came from a very abusive family. So uh, I don't know. It's kind of weird for me. But moving on, Phoenix Dave, one of our patrons, and Sean is one of our patrons too. They wrote in and they love us. Anyway, he said, "I'm addicted to horror." Now I forwarded you this email so you had it ahead of time. I'm addicted to horror. What are the horror YouTube channels that you watch, Tom? I've not found any that are really satisfying. I would love your input.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and send him something separate. It it the thing is that, like, for instance, last week I had I think it was like 6 different uh top 5 came out at the same time.
Mm,
And it was like I'm watching one and then I watch the next one, and half the things that were on the first one are on the second one.
mm,
And it's like they everyone's fighting for those new scary clips
mm.
basically, and those are usually going to places like Nuke's Top 5 and to Slapped Ham, to the bigger ones, and then everybody feeds on them after they posted those. So
Yeah.
but I'll go ahead and send them ones, because some are like this one guy's it's Chills, I think, is the name of his thing, but he talks, I can't even do it. It's such a irritating fucking voice. He's so irritating. And look, I can't even do it. I want to do it right. And it's just, he's like a valley girl, but not,
Yeah.
but like a boring valley girl, you know. And then there's one, Sir Spooky is his name, I think. And he's just boring. And he tells, okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to go over here and open the door, and they're going to see a face behind the door. And it's like, okay, you've ruined the scare.
Right.
Thank you for ruining the scare, and I hate your voice.
Mm,
But there's some that are really good. There's some that are better than others, and some that are really awful. So I'll kind of get that list.
okay. That's
It's
awesome.
in the list when I can get to and just really sort through what I hate and what I don't.
Cool. And thank you
Because
guys
I've got like
for writing in.
I probably have 15 or 20 that I'm watching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw two recently. One was in like a barber shop where a stool just started moving across the floor.
Okay.
And so I guess you haven't seen that one.
Oh,
And
well,
then there was another one where this woman was like talking on a cam, like on her computer or something, and her sliding glass window door was open, and the curtain looked like there was somebody behind it, kind of going like this or whatever. And she saw it on her phone, and you were expecting her to get all freaked out or whatever. Instead, she turned around and she walked over to it and she just punched the hell out of the curtain and then jerked it aside and was like looking around to see if there was somebody there. And then she just like slammed the door. Like she was really pissed. Like, okay.
Well, there's this one very similar to that where a girl was, she was always doing TikTok dances, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so she was doing a TikTok dance, and her sliding glass door opened, and somebody walked through it. Some guy in the complex
Oh,
walked through it. So she runs and grabs her phone, goes to the neighbors, and they call the cops. And it turns out it's some guy down on the first floor that's been watching people in the building, and he thought, well, she was obviously enticing him, so he went up to meet her and through the sliding glass door, not like knocking on the front door. It was kind of scary, because the thing about these shows are, the scariest ones are when there's somebody, like they're in these dark, like old buildings with no electricity, and they've got flashlights and the light on the camera,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you realize there's somebody, like a homeless person or someone, living in there and
uh,
moving around, and that's really scary, because you don't know if they're just hiding from you or they're coming up on you. uh,
right.
hey, I can kill this person and sell off their equipment, and maybe they have money.
Mm,
Who knows? And a lot of these people are always saying, now, what would you rather walk into? A ghost that probably can't do anything to you, or a homeless person with a 2x4.
Right.
You know,
Or just any person with a 2x4. But yeah,
right.
I gotcha.
Well, but not just any person's going to be hanging out in an old building that's, you know, with falling apart and the paint's peeling off it.
I don't know.
Did you hear Stockton's got a serial killer?
What?
Stockton has a serial killer.
No. Did you hear the theory about serial killers and why we don't really have any? Or we don't have like the big famous ones like we used to?
Okay.
Abortion. There was a study done, and it's a real study too. It's not one of those like, oh, there's a study done and 99% of. So there was a real study done that around the time of abortion becoming legal, that the serial killer, blah blah blah, you know, actually declined and continued to decline, and now we don't really have a bunch of famous ones like that. And then now that we have where abortion is becoming illegal again in a lot of places, they expect that, you know, because most come from a very abusive or broken home, and yeah, it was usually because their parents were not able to take care of them. Anyway, that's the theory. I'm just saying, well, it's not a theory, there's a study. But
Okay, that's good because it sounds made up.
well, it was a real study though. So
well,
go look it up.
They're saying that there's a serial killer. He's already killed 5 men late night, between like 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. They're alone, and they've been gunned down, but they have nothing in common. So it's a serial killer with no pattern.
And gunned down. That's ugh. Ugh. All right. Moving on. Ugh. Anyway, moving on. Chub hugs. You got any chub hugs that you want to send out?
Puerto Rico, Ukraine,
Yes.
Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who am I missing? Is it
Pretty much the entire East Coast.
Well, they just got rain, most of them.
Well, they actually had to cancel things like the instruction hearings and stuff.
Sure, but that's because that was Florida being hit on the same day that it was, they figured they didn't want the news, they didn't want to take the news away from the hurricane and put it onto the January 6th. So I get that. Don't get upset that they stole away your program for the day.
My mom was very upset.
Okay.
She's watched all of those hearings like over and over and over. And I'm very glad that she is, that she's become knowledgeable on that stuff. Anyway, that's getting a little addicting. Anyway, my chub hugs go out to our patron Charles, who had a couple really crappy experiences lately. I won't go into them on the show, of course, but I send him out big chub hugs. So, righty Roo. We would like to let you know that visible signs of monkeypox infection can start after 3. For those of you watching the video, Tom is showing you his monkeypox scars. So, yeah. Actually, no, is that where you got your... No?
This is all psoriasis.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. I mean, you had such beautiful skin too.
I know.
I felt it many times.
Ew.
As you backhanded me in the theater. Said, get a grip on yourself, girl! They're not leaving! Anyway. Moving on. Now let's try to do this correctly. All right, so visible signs of a monkeypox infection can usually start within 3 weeks and include flu-like symptoms, rashes, and sores that can look like pimples or blisters. It typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks and is spread through the direct touching of areas of skin, body fluids, intimate contact, and touching items such as clothing, bedding, or towels used by somebody with the virus. Learn more about cdc.gov. This information is sponsored by Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org. And please, please, please go get your monkeypox vaccinations. Actually, they're now calling it MPX or MPV, depending on what coast you're located. I just I was part of a 2-hour seminar or webinar about monkeypox, and lots of great information out there, lots of good information about how our community responded and is basically spearheading all of this. And heard from somebody who went through it, and he just said that it was one of the most miserable things. So you do not want this. All right. Queer headlines. Students across Virginia walk out of school to protest anti-trans policies. Pentagon reports a report says fears about gays in the military were vastly overblown. Netflix removes Jeffrey Dahmer series from the LGBTQ section after backlash. Democrats introduce a bill to create an LGBTQ history museum in Washington, D.C. That would be cool. Gavin Newsom, that's the California governor, yay.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Democrats introduced a bill to create a LGBTQ. That's what Billy Eichner's character in Bros was trying to get funding for in New York, was one of those.
Wow. Well, yeah. Timely.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom signs law making California a sanctuary for trans kids and their families. So sad that we have to do that, but I'm glad we did. Kim Davis, you remember her?
I do.
For our listeners that are like, who? I'm with you. But she was the court clerk person who said, I'm not going to put gay marriage. And she went on trial and they basically said, bitch, you wrong. Anyway, she apparently has lost again. A court has denied her, denies qualified immunity bid for denying gay couples marriage license. So she's still at it, trying to be relevant. She's just not. Sorry. But you know who is relevant? Tom and everything that he has watched this week. Bring it to us.
Okay. It's really odd watching Glee when Rachel Berry is now just starting her first month of playing Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl, when Leah Michelle is now in her first or second month, just starting her second month of playing Fanny Bryce and Funny Girl. So
right,
it's just really interesting. But then I also noticed that there's been a glut of other another candy bar, with other Glee stars doing stuff, because both Artie and Tina were both on RuPaul, and I'm pretty sure that it's Mercedes on Masked Singer, because she just did this Dynamite Whitney impression. She's just fantastic. And then you've got Leah Michelle working again. Matthew Morrison was working this summer until he got kind of called out on So You Think You Can Dance for talking to contestants when he shouldn't. Not sure what that was all about. But and of course Sue was Sue. She's always
working.
Always working. So she was actually playing Fanny Bryce's mother in Funny Girl the week before Leah Michelle started.
Wow.
And the thing was, they just said she was wildly miscast in the role. So it didn't matter how good she was. She playing an old Jewish mom is something I just don't see,
Not from her, no.
So anyway, that's kind of fun. Let's see, American Horror Stories. They had the last episode of the stories was called Lake, and it was about this woman going out and finding her son, who mysteriously drowned in a lake that outside of a, because they have like a summer cabin, and so they, so she goes back and tries to find out where the son's body is because they can't find the son's body, but there's also a secret. But what's interesting about this is the mother is played by Alicia Silverstone.
Oh.
And it's like I had to go back and look at pictures because she looks wildly different. So that was
Molly Ringwald is in the Dahmer thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I love seeing these actresses get work again.
Well, what really makes me happy is that they're getting work with Ryan Murphy, who cares about bringing actresses of age back into prominence. So, let's see. RuPaul's Drag Race, they did the finale for the Celebrity Drag Race, and it ended up being AJ from Backstreet Boys.
Nice.
But what was so funny was he was so serious about it. He wanted it so bad, but when he's just standing there in drag, or when he's like sitting down in drag, he's got the full man, man split,
Yeah.
legs are apart.
Yeah.
When he's standing, he looks like a dude. But good for him. He had a good time. Let's see. Oh, Alone this week we're watching season 9 because we can get it on demand through Comcast, and the oh my God, every time one of the guys gets a beaver, he kills the beaver, he smokes the beaver, he
smash the beaver.
He just he cleans it, he starts eating it, and they've all gotten sick from eating beaver.
Oh
yeah,
I understand.
So around here it's a lot of beaver jokes. Yeah,
I bet.
But yeah, so British baking contest. I just love Matt on the show.
You do not.
I know
you can't stand him as much as I do, and I don't Matt Lucas, but not on this show. I don't know why.
I don't dislike him as much as you do because it really doesn't matter to me because I watch for how kind the contestants are to one another.
I know it's ridiculous, but I miss Sue and the other one.
Right, the two lesbians.
Yeah, well, yes, I miss them so much. I even miss Sandy. Sandy grew on me too, and I don't mind Noel, but for some reason, I just can't connect with Matt on this show.
Yeah, well,
I don't know why.
But anyway, the contestants are still quite kind to each other, and yeah, it's been fun. On the juniors one, they finally got rid of a kid on the second week, and tears. But it's interesting. It's interesting because they're so British, and they're so young. It's weird, just kind of weird. Let's see. Right. One really funny thing on Reboot was the writers. They've got half the writers on. This is the one with Michael Keegan Michael Key, and then where they're remaking the series from 20 years ago. Well, what in the writers' room they're talking, and so half the writers' room is old Jewish writers, right? And the other is all these young, we've got a non-binary person, we've got a lesbian, we've got a gay guy, so we're getting the full mixture of this. Well, this one guy goes, the Jewish guys are talking, and he goes, "Oh, look who's talking. So-and-so got a blowjob from Paul Lynde." And the gay guy goes, "Really?" And he says, "Oh God, let me see. Paul Lynde had a jaw like a python." And what's happening is the writers, even though they started out appalled with each other, are starting to blend in really nicely with each other. Oh God, I'm trying to remember. There's one that was it was the young gay guy was talking about something, and the old lady says something, and he makes some kind of death joke to her, and they all laugh. It's So it's becoming very funny. Even more funny. So
That's good.
sorry, it
No,
just
that's good.
let's see on the Masked Singer. Well, actually, La Brea is
Mm,
back. Okay, and
really?
with this, it takes place in like 10,000 BC, and then it takes place in present day, and now for some reason they're in 1989. I don't know why, and I'm wondering how many more time bullshit crossings, how many storylines are we going to have through this thing? So I don't know what's going on. I usually watch it after Sean goes to bed, and I've been drinking, so
Mm,
and it doesn't help. Mass Singer, we had some two new singers to take on the harp, who I'm pretty sure is Amber Riley, played by or Amber Riley, who played Mercedes on Glee. Let's see, they had Jeff Dunham, and which I was pretty sure I said it's either Terry, that new Terry guy with the puppets, or it's Jeff Dunham with the puppets. One or the other, or no, or the other guy, the old guy with the puppets. And I couldn't remember his name right off. And then it ended up being him. And then the other guy was some singer from the 90s, some singer, I don't know who he was. He had a hit. He had a hit.
okay.
So good for him. But the harp is still going towards the championship. They're doing it differently this year. It's weird. Let's see. No. Oh, I watched 13 the musical. This is on Netflix. And the storyline is this kid, he's a Jewish kid getting ready to turn 13. And then his mother, played by my good friend Deborah Massey, decides that they're moving back to live with her mother, who's played by Carla from Cheers, Rhea Perlman. And now he's in Indiana, in a town with no Jewish people but his grandmother, and he doesn't know, how am I supposed to have a bar mitzvah when no one's going to be there because I don't know anybody. You ruined my bar mitzvah, mom. And so and it's a musical about being 13 and Jewish and trying to get new friends and stuff. It's a cute little show.
No.
Yeah. Um let's see, Bachelor in Paradise. Have you watched it yet?
I watched the first episode.
Okay, that's all there's been.
Okay.
I did look up Lace's birthday is November 3rd.
Yeah. She said when the bartender, who was the most interesting person on the show, in my opinion.
You know who he is, don't you?
No.
Well, he's one of the winners of the worst celebrity cooks in America. And he's married to Sarah Hyland who played on Modern Family.
Oh, love her.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's who, and he's been doing this for a few years too. So this is
I liked him, and then he's like, "It's not your birthday," and she said, "Just go with it." But she's insane. I'm sorry. I know that they bring in a couple of them that are just like wackadoo to stir stuff up or whatever.
Yeah, that
But
one girl, I saw her. She's a nightmare.
I imagine, I mean, the way that they were freaking out of her. But this one, when she finally got her alone time with what's his name from the last season, and she's just, it's like he's giving you his attention. That's what you wanted, and you're sitting there acting like such a horrible person. Notice I'm not saying certain words, but I'm like, you're just nuts. Like nothing on this is going to satisfy you. Sorry, but
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
she just, that's all that stood out to me from that show. The rest of it was just like, okay, there better be shirtless guys.
and there will be
Yeah.
lots of that. Horror, or not horror, but food wise, I'm watching Halloween cookie making, Halloween baking, Halloween wars, and outrageous pumpkins.
What are all these on?
They're all on Food Channel.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, they you can get them on demand, or you can watch them all on Discovery Plus,
Oh, okay, cool.
and that's with no commercials. Even better. Let's see. Then Mighty Ducks Summer Camp just
Yeah,
started,
I saw
and they don't have Emilio Estevez on. I was really surprised. So
that.
I'm not sure if he's going to come on later or they've just written him off. So, which is sad. And
So
then
there's a lot of summer camp stuff on Disney though.
well, might as well take
After
it.
the summer.
Well, summer camp, the nice thing about summer camp is that it takes you to a place where you don't know, you're uncomfortable.
Ah, okay.
It's a place where, because I would never go to summer camp because they have open showering. I would never do, which is something that Nick experienced when he was on Big Mouth and he went to summer camp, was that he was too embarrassed to shower in the open stalls.
Hmm.
Anyway, so let's see. I watched two movies and two stand-ups. So the two stand-ups I saw were Nick Kroll, speaking of Big Mouth. He's on Netflix right now. Really fun, really fun stand-up. He's I mean, he was enjoyable. I don't really have any complaints. If you're a Big Mouth fan, though, every once in a while he'll be talking and he'll be like, "Oh, that's Lola. Oh, that's Jay. Oh, that's Maury. That's and those are the voices he's kind of got."
Hmm.
Um, Second movie I saw was Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh yes. Hmm.
Um, um, Oh, that's the movie. I wasn't going to go there. Okay, but since I did, Hocus Pocus 2 is one of the movies I saw this week, which is almost 30, it's 29 years later from the time that the Sorensen sisters were originally killed off, but there's another way to bring them back.
Hmm.
So it was cute. I mean, the thing about the Hocus Pocus movies is that they were dumb as shit, but fun, you know, just kind of a fun movie to have a good time with. Especially the first one, I kind of didn't like as much because that little girl. Um,
The one that wouldn't fucking shut up and was super whiny and
yeah,
I couldn't
yeah. And
yeah.
so this time we don't have any little kids, which is good.
And the
Um,
whole movie was to save her, and I'm like, let her go.
right. Well, if you let her go, then the sisters,
Anderson sisters, yeah, but
yeah, so that,
the trade-off: the screaming, whiny little brat, or
yeah, I get where you're coming from, girl. So yeah, and then the other stand-up I saw this weekend was Jinx Monsoon. And now
woo!
don't get your hopes up, people. She was live in town on stage at the Punchline, not on any streaming service, at least not yet. And it was interesting because I didn't know what she was going to do, because I know her other shows she does with different queens and different actors, where she's doing scene work and jokes, together, or songs together. This wasn't musical at all. She didn't sing, which I was a little disappointed. I thought she might sing a few things. But it was all stand up, and it was all, she's nothing better than being a non-binary, because she has a whole list of non-binary uh, uh, femme, blah 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 blah, with a penis when you're going into the airport. And
Oh,
believe we're queens are in airports at least once a week, twice a week,
mm,
one going somewhere, one coming back from somewhere, and nothing's worse than having to deal with which bathroom you're going to use, having people, oppress you and shit like that. So there was a lot of those jokes. She talked about how she's sober now, and gave some descriptions on why she's sober now. And some of them were just horrendous, just
mhm.
horrendous. So, very funny show. And then finally, the other movie that I saw this week was Bros, which is at theaters only right now.
Yes.
But because of its poor performance, you'll probably see on Peacock pretty soon.
Oh,
But the thing is, I think I figured out why gay people don't go out and support. Well, they don't even stay home and support
no.
gay shows, and I think it's because I remember when they said when Modern Family came out, they said, "Oh, Cam and Mitch are just trying to be, they're just stereotypes. They're stereotypes of who the director or the writers actually must think the gay people are." And I'm thinking, that's not a stereotype. That's called me, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a self-loathing by the gay community.
Mm.
They don't want to go and see romantic comedies because that's not the way it works out. But you know what? Katherine Heigl doesn't fall in love with the journalist who writes about weddings either. Okay,
Right.
it's called fantasy,
Mm.
and so I think that you look back at how poorly the reboot of Will and Grace went, the Queer as Folk on Peacock. They don't want to see gay people unless they're eating them, obviously. Um,
Uh-huh.
if
Exactly.
it's, and I think it's if you look at it, self-loathing, you know, Dahmer really works towards that self-loathing because
Mhm.
we're not good enough to survive. We're all we are is just, we're taking up space, and it's just instead of embracing like they did. I remember when the Birdcage came out,
Mm.
and it was a big hit. Even the gays went to see that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was different. Maybe because um, in the
Robin
show,
Williams.
in the show they're all no, in the show they're kind of hiding themselves,
Uh,
which is, oh, that's relatable to gay people, right? Hiding away, behind walls so that they don't upset other people until they can be in their own faggy little environment, and then that's okay. But as long as they're not pushing it on straight people, I think it's self-loathing, and that's why there's a constant lack. That's why theater, theater is lucky they can get away. They have an audience
mm.
because I think like the New York theater people are savvy enough to appreciate good no matter what the subject matter is.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, television and movies, gay people don't like themselves very much.
Yeah, it's very true because from the people that I know that went and saw it opening weekend, there were maybe one or two like, it was okay, but whatever. And then just glowing reviews. Like from everybody on my timeline that has been and seen it, they loved it. And a couple of them went and saw it again. So
It's 96, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes, so even critics like it.
yeah. So I
And
just
and what this does is now the next company that goes, hey, we got this really good romantic comedy script for gays, uh, that we'll never make any money off it. Can we switch one of the characters to be the other sex, and then we can
uh,
make it a heterosexual comedy? Well, yeah, the writer says if that gets it made, I'll do it.
yep.
Okay.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, like I don't know how many queers, and I say that lovingly, my queer brethren, that go out of their way to watch every single Christmas holiday romance thing that comes out. And
Boo.
well, yeah, last year a little iffy though. I was a little bored with them. But they're the same basic three stories over and over and over and over and over. They're all straight, and they're like, why can't we have a gay one? They did two gay ones and a lesbian one, and they shit all over them. So,
Yeah. So
you know what? If you're not going to support it, you don't deserve it.
right.
So
And
there
it
you go.
doesn't matter how good it is.
No, because they were great. I mean,
Uh,
well,
the
the
better
Christmas ones were a little iffy, but
Well, the better the better the stuff doesn't seem to matter with the gay community. They just don't want to watch themselves because they hate themselves.
that's what it seems. I think
Yeah.
you're onto something there.
Okay.
All righty.
What about your week?
Well, I have, speaking of romantic comedies, it's Halloween season, and I'm like, I did a little Charmed, and, after 10 plus years of that, I kind of burned out a little bit. So I moved on to watching, this year, I was watching The Good Witch, which I've watched several times just through the times because I just love the show. So I watched in the last week. I've watched seasons 1, 2, and part of 3 of The Good Witch, and it's just such a fun, relaxing, calm. Like everything's gonna work out. You know it is. There's no like super serious drama. It's just a nice show, and yeah, and it's about good witches. So I mean, of course you've got to love it. All right. I also watched The Bachelor in Paradise, as I told Tom. We already talked about that. Great British Baking Show Collection 10. I made it through half the cookie episode. I was watching it pretty late, so I didn't finish it. So I'll finish it soon. And for our British listeners,
Biscuit.
that's the biscuits.
Biscuit.
Yes. But some of those now just macarons, they're a little iffy. Those cat ones, poor thing, they just fell all apart. It's tragic. But because I had never had a macaron before, and a couple years ago you brought me some, and let me tell you, except for the dark chocolate and orange ones, they were so good. They were heaven. uh, anyway, they're also pretty expensive, but um, I loved them. So I always appreciate that you did that. And let's see. The dragons. Catch up on the dragons. That's right. So the House of Dragons. I was behind 2 episodes. I watched them last night, and wow. So I'm just, if you don't want any spoilers, if you're not caught up or whatever, jump ahead just a little bit here. But I was so bored through most of the episodes, and then all of a sudden, like something will happen. I'm like, oh, so I just kind of feel like they're still in starting mode, and they need to get their shit together because they're at least half the season, if not less,
Oh yeah, they. I think.
done.
Do they run 8 or 10?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking they're running 10, but you're in episode 6, and you just finally started getting some shit really going. So
Well,
they can
no,
just step it up.
six was the wedding, right?
Uh, from to her to her uncle, yeah,
No, she didn't get married to her uncle.
yeah. Girl, are you behind?
She got married to the. Oh, was there something I missed? Wait, which? Okay, you're talking the girl with the dragons,
Yeah, the main one, Rihanna Rain.
right? That was going to marry the
At
gay
the
guy.
end of the current episode, oh, which played last night. Maybe you haven't seen it
I
yet.
haven't seen that.
Okay, so spoiler alert. Sorry. Anyway, so all I will tell you is pay attention to the man in the boat because it took me 4 hours after the episode before I realized who he is and what had happened. Um, that aside, I won't talk anymore about that episode, but let's just say that there was some shit that went down, and
Well,
whoo,
because
girl.
the episode before, okay, I guess it was 5 was the red wedding where they were and weird shit was happening. Then the episode right after that, talk about boring episodes.
Uh-huh.
Sean said, "You can go ahead and watch the rest without me. I don't want to watch this anymore."
Yeah, where she gave birth.
Yeah, the whole thing was just
Yeah,
like,
that whole episode was like, okay, I know you're setting up the whole conflict between you and the queen and blah 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 or whatever the fuck, but who cares? And then like I said, halfway through episode 6, I was still bored, and then all of a sudden some shit went down, and it was like, oh, here we go. This is Game of Thrones. So anyway, and then I did watch Hocus Pocus 2, and I really liked it. I thought that they did a great job. I would say they even did a little bit better job than the first one, just story wise. I think they didn't really realize. I think they knocked out the first one thinking it was just going to be a cute little Halloween movie, and they didn't realize that it would become the cult love that it did. So they took more time with this one. It has a really it. They did a good job. I'm not saying this is like the best ever movie or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it, and it will be in my Halloween rotation from now on. So I may even watch it again before the end of uh, this season.
Yeah, I watched it without Sean, but didn't tell him that I was watching it
Hmm.
because it's after he went to bed at 10 o'clock. On
Weirdo.
every night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh great, I've got nothing to watch because I watched the 8:30 new Saturday Night Live on NBC. So I'm sitting there going, great, got nothing to do. Fuck it, I'm gonna watch and so I did watch it. And I enjoyed it as well. It was
Yeah.
the ending I was probably could watch again, but I thought it was just, the shows are fun. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to
Exactly.
be dumb. They're supposed to be funny, and
Supposed to be kid friendly and yet adult friendly too, and they did that well.
right.
Yeah.
So with me, I'm kind of cool with, I don't. I first of all, I don't understand why people are so mean about disliking it. And the latest meme, oh, here's Julie Andrews spinning around, showing how much she doesn't care about Hocus Pocus 2 coming out. I don't care.
I think there's like 5 people out there, probably Russians, that are just spinning out crappy memes to get people to freak out on the internet because I have heard nothing bad about it, yeah, and it was better than the first one. If you're gonna be a diehard first Hocus Pocus fan, then you can't watch this one. Well, I mean, I'm sure you can, but I don't see how you would watch this one and say that it did not do justice to the first one, if not better.
Right. I mean, as far as sequels go, it's a very good sequel.
Yeah, yeah. And it didn't have that screaming little girl in it. That was a blessing. Whew. So anyway, and then the only other thing is I've been just doing cleaning and house organizing projects. The holiday season's on us. The Halloween decorations and the Samhain decorations are up everywhere. Um, and the Christmas decorations are being moved from one closet to the other to prepare for the big onslaught of that uh, about a week after Halloween. So I cleaned out the big shed outside and organized that. I What else did I do? Cleaned out a couple cupboards, that under the sink cupboard that you end up getting out of control. Did that, another storage cupboard, and I cleaned up a bunch of stuff outside that was just really nice to get it taken care of because it was bothering me. I was bothered. It bothered me. Anyway, so that was my week.
I was just reading a comment on Bros,
Uh-huh.
and it said it was some. It sounded like it was some woman. I mean, it is a woman. I'm not sure if she's. Well, she says um, that people that it was so boring she just had to get up and leave.
Well, she probably didn't understand any of the humor.
Don't go there. I know what that means.
Hey, I said what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be the one that gets all the
You know what? Anybody
but
that's listening to our show is going to go see that movie and get the humor, whether it connects with them, whether they find it funny. They're
I
still
know,
going to get it.
but you were implying that lesbians don't have any sense of humor. So
Oh, I didn't even know she was a lesbian. I just thought she was some straight woman who was trying to be supportive but doesn't get it.
see, we sat next to 3 older women, and I would say that they were probably straight, and
Yeah.
they were, I say older women, they could have been my age, but I would say that they were in their 60s or 70s,
Yeah.
and they howled through everything.
Aw, that's good.
And
See, they're hags. They're good
and
hags.
as we did as well. I mean, it's just one funny thing after another. They play on so much. And the other thing that was really cool about it is that the majority of the people in the movie are gay or lesbian or bisexual.
I
Or,
love that.
I mean, Deborah Massey is probably one of the only straight people in the show,
Yeah, you
and
didn't even bring
she,
that up.
she gets a pass.
Wow. Well, because she was one of the iconic fag hags that were there, fruit flies, whatever you want to call them. And by the way, you still didn't say anything about that.
I did mention she was my close personal friend.
Yes, because
No, well, she just is. I mean, sure, she retweeted me, but that's beside the point.
That's right. And she said she gave a little, thank you so much. It was so fun.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, the biggest engagement that I had this week was Rab from the Kilted Coaches, who's been going through some hard times. I should send him some chub hugs out too. Anyway, but he liked one of my comments, which was really nice. But it's no Deborah Massey.
Yeah. Leah Michelle last week. It's been a good couple of weeks for me.
Soon you're gonna be a star fucker again.
I already have been.
I know. That's why I said again. All right. Let's see. We want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. Fat Marker Clothing wants those of us who have been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And Chubs listeners, you can do that. All you have to do is go over to fatmarkerclothing.com and use the FM Wild Chub code to get 20% off anything while ordering. And now let's find out what's going on with Dear Prudence, shall we? I picked this one up out for you. I've always been sensitive to the spirits of the dead. My mom told me that when I was little, I used to play with my deceased grandfather. I often know things that I have no other way of knowing, and generally I can just sense the presence sometimes. Except for a few terrible childhood field trips to battlefields, I've always found it comforting. Most spirits are gentle and not all that interested in people and they didn't know in life. And I enjoy the fact that even when I'm alone, I'm not really alone. A few months ago, my dad passed away. My mom passed years ago. I inherited my parents' house, and my husband and I decided to move in and grow our family and fill the space. The thing is, my parents won't leave me alone. Recently, my husband and I were in our bedroom working on growing our family, and I sensed my dad, which ruined the mood. My mom definitely disapproves of the fact that I tore down her dining room wall paper. And they both showed up in the middle of a petty argument we had and took sides. I did not sign up for moving back in with my parents. I know from experience that the dead don't take orders from the living, and I really like the idea of my children growing up in a house infused with their grandparents' spirits. So I need to get over this. How can I get used to having my parents hovering over my shoulder all the time? Yeah, you could have kept.
Sorry.
I had to mute
I thought
myself
you were
to talk there.
I thought you were going to do something scary.
Oh.
So, you know me, it's like the way I would do this, because I fully believe in this shit, is that I would say, okay, these are the rules.
Hmm.
Like, for instance, I've made it blatantly clear that if there's anybody in the house, they don't get to go into my bedroom. It's just Sean, Honey, and myself. Those are the only people or things that can go into the bedroom. And I don't want to have somebody go, well, people call me Honey all the time. No, know who Honey is. You know who Sean is. You know who I am. Do not fuck with me. And I'll tell you, I was watching one scary today, and it was this woman. She was walking through her kitchen, and the kitchen sink kept coming on, and yeah, even though she was standing across the room filming,
Mm.
and then she turned it off, and she's on the phone with somebody, and she's like, the sink came on again, I don't know what to do. And then she's like, wait, I hear a noise, just a minute. So she goes over off to the side, and then she hears her dogs cry out, and there's this loud banging, and she comes back in, and all the drawers and cabinets are open in the kitchen. All the chairs in the dining room and the formal dining room are knocked over. The whole place is, and I didn't see a jump cut or anything. It's
Mm.
really scary. But my first thing would be, I'm not cleaning this up. Okay,
Right.
you do this mess. You can clean up this mess. I'm not tolerating this. You just take command. That's what you do. The living, they don't take orders from the living, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
So you just lay down some rules on what they can do and what they can't do, and where they can and cannot do that.
Right.
A really, really good one is always nobody goes in the bedrooms except for the living,
Mm.
unless, of course, there's a deranged killer in the house, and then you just take him out, and and what you do with the body is completely up to you. I just don't want to find it in a closet or buried in the backyard. Just
Mhm.
that's up to you. But otherwise, nobody that's not living gets into the bedrooms.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't even care about the bathroom.
Well, you like to watch while you poop.
Well, I don't mind getting the shit scared out of me either.
Well, you're in the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah. I did know a mutual friend of ours who was possessed by the ghost of an owl.
No.
Okay. You're supposed to say who, and then I freak out. Okay. Yeah. So I have had a few that I've had to kind of deal with too before, and I'm a little impatient though. So I'm always very like, no, I will not deal with it. Um, and that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. You put down your boundaries, and if you need to salt the floor or something like that, whatever. But
Hey, as long as it's not doing anything or nothing bad is happening.
well, like this person said, usually they're not interested in you. They're just their energy or their past energy or whatever it is that is lingering is still kind of there trying to figure itself out. Um, anyway, so this is what Dear Prudie had to say. Dear Never Alone, far be it from me to suggest that your parents' spirits aren't hanging around. I will take your word for it and go with what people who sincerely believe this kind of paranormal activity would suggest. Say, by the power of all good karma, direct connection to source, agape love, and selfless acts, I ask the universe to please remove all negative entities from this house. You are not welcome here, so please go back to where you came from. Since you know these people, you can preface that with, sorry, mom and dad, but, and that is the advice. So, um, but if they're, the thing with this though is that if it is, not a negative entity, they're still gonna linger. Just saying.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I've had a
But that
number
didn't
of things.
answer her question. She wanted to know how to figure out,
Just I did. As the question is, just leave the don't send them away.
right,
What's wrong with having your parents there? It just if they want to close the bedroom door and tell them they're not able to come in here.
right. No, you and I gave our answers, but
Right.
Prudy didn't give
Uh,
a decent answer to that, is
well,
what
it's probably because it's too religious.
I guess. All right. Hey, Chubs, have you seen all the Halloween films?
You mean the movies that are based on
The one that says Halloween?
Halloween?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I haven't. Um, I've seen two, maybe. Maybe. Not my bag. Um, hey, Chubs, name three movies you watch every Halloween time.
Um. Well, I usually end up somehow watching Hocus Pocus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think maybe it's because it always pops up on some streaming
Mm-hmm.
service, and now, of course, it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat. If I see it on, even though I own it, if I see it on somewhere, like it's
Mhm.
on, HBO Max or whatever, I usually will watch that. You remember that one about the four
That's
different stories?
yeah, that's actually our patron Clint's favorite Halloween movie.
Well, that's our patron Clint, non-patriot Brian's favorite Halloween movie.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's
It's
it.
actually going to be at theaters. They're going to bring it up to theaters finally, because
Oh,
when it first came out, they were going to release it, and they ended up releasing it just on God, what was it at that point? Whatever, it got released online, or on whatever source, HBO or something, and it became an instant hit.
now this is the one
Everybody,
with the three different tales, right?
well, it's actually, I think there's four.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but yeah, it became this huge hit,
Yeah.
huge cult hit, and of course then Warner's like, oh, I guess we fucked up on that one. But they finally are giving it a theater run, so I thought that
Cool.
was exciting. And then other than that, I don't, horror movies disappoint me. So
Mhm.
and rewatching ones that we already know the thing aren't as much fun.
Mhm.
The Exorcist has become very boring,
Mhm.
um, and then they remake all the good ones, and that kind of actually, like, they remade The Omen, and it was terrible. But going back and watching the old Omen is kind of tainted now because of it, which is terrible because it's one of my favorite horror films. Um, I mean, there's a lot of ones I wished I could go back, but Sean doesn't like horror movies at all. And I think it's from his highly religious background.
Mhm. Okay.
He was an altar boy and never got molested. No wonder he's a mess.
Well,
So but yeah, I don't know if
hey,
there's a new
you
one.
were getting mad at me for a dad joke. I just anyway. So third one, you're just trying to figure it out.
I don't know that there is a third one.
Wow. Okay. For me, I mean, the three that I can just rattle off is, of course, Hocus Pocus, Practical Magic, and Casper.
Oh, I do like Practical Magic, but I don't really think of that as Halloween,
Yeah. Um.
which is fair. But it now should be a Halloween show. It's almost like Death Becomes Her should be a Halloween movie. Um, you know, any kind of those crazy, paranormally kind of shows should be, but even though they're not, they are. If it's magic, if it's I can shoot you through the stomach, but it doesn't kill you, those type of things. They're
Yeah.
just fun, and
Oh,
sure, throw them in the Halloween bag.
well, I think it's funny that you can pretty much say to anybody that watches movies, I guess, you can just say now a warning, and they know right what you're talking about.
What?
Oh God. All right, moving on. So I had asked you to name three movies from 1990, and you said, I don't know, girl. So now I guess maybe this question. Hey Tom, what was the number one box office movie of 1990? Maybe not up your alley. No? It's spooky, kinda.
um Home Alone?
Oh my love, my darling.
Really, Ghost was?
Yep.
Oh.
So, yep, it was the number one movie, and it grossed, overall, 217,631,309 in its release, and that was by Paramount. All right, other movies that you could have guessed for 1990 was, let's see, Ghost, Pretty Woman, Home Alone, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Hunt for Red October, Total Recall, Die Hard, Dick Tracy, Driving Miss Daisy, and Back to the Future 3. Have you seen all of those?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I've seen all except. No, I saw that one. Yeah. No, actually, I've seen all of them too. Yeah.
I think it's, it's just nothing memorable about 90. It's like 91 was memorable for me because that's the year that Beauty and the Beast came out,
Mm.
and Silence of the Lambs both came out that year. It was a really good year for films,
Yeah.
and but if it's anymore, it's like I'm not. See, I used to be able when I was a kid.
Mhm.
My big trick in a I guess party trick was I could tell you who won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress from the beginning of time by
Right.
year. And then somebody could go, okay, let's say 19 oh 1950, what won Best Picture? Okay, that was All About Eve. And and I could have them like this. Jose Ferrer won for Cyrano de Bergerac that year,
Mm.
and then it was Judy Holliday won for
Oh, Judy Hall.
that
Mhm.
Born Yesterday,
Ah,
and she beat out Gloria Swanson, and she beat out
yeah.
um, 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 Betty Davis,
Mm.
um, and so it was a big year for females that year too. And it was a big party trick I had. But once the internet came, I don't have to remember any of that anymore.
Right.
It's no fun. It's like, why memorize something that I can look up in 3 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. I get it. I heard something recently about Judy Holliday. They were gonna redo or do something about her or something. Anyway, it was so sad. Didn't she only make like 3 movies? Or was
No,
that James Dean?
that was James Dean, and yeah,
Yeah. But Judy Holliday, she was on the fast track to be like super huge, and then something happened, didn't it?
yeah. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Uh, but I mean, when her winning that award away from all these like huge stars
Mhm.
was big. It was very big.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's time to move into what is in your lunchbox. And well, Mr. Michael Sage wrote in and he said, "Hey, baby, here's what's in my box." Oh, and then he sent this picture as well. Um, broccoli and spinach, baked potatoes with vegan sour cream, and seitan steak marinated. Okay, well, you're frozen because your heart is again not open, but apparently your digestive tract is.
Um,
Oh,
well,
there you are. Hello.
I think it's for me, it's like the vegan sour cream, but also where's the rest of the stuff?
Well, it's all there. When you have to be a vegetarian, you can't eat very much.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do like sour cream, butter, chives,
Mm.
and bacon bits.
I will say that I have tried one vegan sour cream option, and it actually wasn't bad. Now, it could have been that it was well spiced with other stuff, but it wasn't bad. Now, for those of you watching the video right now, Tom's naked body is dancing around. Uh, anyway, all right. So thank you so much, Michael. And I think he might send us a few other things. I'm
I'm
hoping.
not saying I don't think it because everything looks good.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I actually even the sour cream doesn't bother me as much as the lack of bacon bits. Where are the bacon
Well,
bits?
there are vegan bacon bits
I
that
know there are.
actually taste really good.
Oh,
So
well,
I get you.
we had vegan bacon bits growing up because
Mm.
remember that was made from soy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Those, I mean, the what was it? What's it called? Bacon bits, wasn't that it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it
those?
was. It was spelled differently, but it was like bacon bits, something like that.
Yeah.
And then,
So,
of course, then they had the whole, dog version of it.
oh,
Like
and they didn't taste like bacon at all, by the way.
no, no. All right. Well, next up we have, speaking of bacon, it's Kathy Bacon. She wrote in and said, "So hangry. Eating all my meals at once. Greek yogurt, vanilla flavored. Sorry, Tom." And I used to eat blueberries, but it in it, but once I tasted strawberries, I was hooked. I know. I just love strawberries. Anyway,
Well, and actually, they're very good in cream like that. So, but and I don't hate yogurt. I don't want people to think I hate yogurt. It's not like my first choice.
mm,
And if I'm having yogurt, like I love frozen yogurt, I like having yogurt with fruit, but
yeah.
I'd rather have an alternative if I'm using it on something, I'd rather have like heavy cream instead of yogurt or sour cream.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like yogurt. It took me a while to get used to Greek yogurt, but I really like it like way better than anything any of
So
these
is this
now.
toast with strawberries as well?
Well, yes, actually, it is a 12 grain bread, or what I call birdseed bread, slathered in butter and one slice of strawberry jam. I love strawberry jam.
Hate
I hate
strawberry.
jelly. Do you? Yes, I hate jelly,
I don't
especially grape
dislike
jelly.
jelly. It's not that I don't like jelly. It's just it's more like it's like putting nothing on something.
It's just like a weird form of jello.
But
Ugh.
it's like melted, it's just not a jam is or a marmalade are so much nicer because there's some texture to it.
Yes, jam is my jam. I even like strawberry preserves, but not jelly. Okay, and lettuce, organic spring, mixed, freshly washed, regardless of the packaging. Good thing. That claims it's been washed 3 times. The store's way of trying to convince you that you won't die from it. I have 2 hard-boiled egg slices, an avocado, salt, pepper, onions, root vegetables are important dietary foods. I agree, but I don't like them. And of course, ranch dressing. Chub hugs, guys. Thank you, Miss Bacon. And I love your china that you served it on. I have similar china that I served mine on.
I've seen it.
Yes, but that really does look good. You know what I had the other day is I had some avocado toast, and I got when I mentioned it, they're like, "Oh, how Californian?" Well, bitch, I'm in California. But when you take a little butter and avocado and you put it on a piece of toast, and then you put a good helping of salt and pepper on it, it's really fucking good. Really. All right. Tom's giving me that. Can we just move on? Look, I have to go to the bathroom. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Baron Frosty wrote in, and he said, for breakfast, eggs on homemade honey oat bread. Wow, that sounds good and industrious. With roasted red pepper, hummus. I like that very much. And a drizzle of Korean barbecue sauce. I'm not sure I've ever tried that.
You I think you'd probably really like it,
Uh,
but it's when you first try out some of these Korean and some of these Asian
mhm.
things where
Used.
they're using tomato paste, tomato base. It's like, oh, I think I like that.
Uh,
But it's kind of shocking for the moment. But it's you find that we're using this stuff called gochujang, and it's you mix it in with other, like if you put it in with a spaghetti sauce or with chili, it just brightens it up. It's amazing what it does. But
okay.
and I like his plate.
Yes, actually, yeah, I love his plates.
And did you notice how when he used when he put on the hummus, he spread it with a spreader that had a serrated edge?
Yes, and did you also notice how perfectly his egg is? Like he poured it into a mold.
Well, it was probably in a mold.
That's what I said, girl.
Well, no, you said it probably was. Well, you can tell it is. But no, look at he made like this lovely pattern.
Yeah, no,
Serrated.
it looks really good,
Okay. All right.
and it really sets off the plate and the blue in the background. We can keep going. Okay. Well, next up, we do have kind of a little bit of a long one because, we did miss last week. Mr. Moose wrote in and he sent us so many amazing things, as did they all. But this has cookies. So I have wonderful neighbors. Today is the first day of fall. Yay. And to celebrate, the lady across the street brought homemade cookies. These are great. They're oatmeal. Never mind. Oatmeal with dark and white chocolate chips and pecans. Okay, the chips may save it, but
And did you notice that the lady across the street broke out her holiday wear, her holiday plates?
yes, that's right. Oh, a little early, but yeah,
Is it? Is it?
not for
Remember,
me, but I know it is for some people.
well, you got to remember that some of these people live in an area where it does start snowing as early.
That's true. Yeah, or have hurricanes. I hope you're okay, Mr. Moose. All right. Went to Whole Foods after the gym, bought mixed greens, lovely heirloom tomatoes, grilled chicken from the deli, and New York cheese. Everything for the perfect salad. Spent $69 and change. So you guessed the perfect dinner, didn't you? Yes, Domino's everything pizza with the Brooklyn crust. Sorry, not sorry. Now I really want pizza. Haven't had good pizza in a while. All right, another Chinese dish, chicken, beef, shrimp, and mixed vegetables in a spicy sauce. Wonder if it's Korean barbecue sauce.
No, it's not.
No, oh, okay. We are having some cool days, so I decided to make a pot of homemade chicken soup. Organic, free-range chicken. Oh, okay. That was ethically killed. Well, that's good. Well, they're still dead. So the chickens might disagree. All organic chicken, parsley, carrots, spinach, and stock with gnocchi instead of noodles. Really hit the spot. And it looks really good too. Okay, I had to take a moment to look.
Shrimp.
Oh, this is just a tease post. Got the deep fryer out and cooked shrimp. Anyway, but shrimp have a special place in my memory. When I was a kid, before my dad got sick, we had a tiny beach house. We'd walk for the boats, returning in the early afternoon with their fresh cast. We'd watch them returning with their fresh catch. They would always have shrimp. My dad would give me $10 and send me off to the dock for £3. Now, there were only three of us, but somehow we'd finish off all £3. Think my dad ate about £2. When I got a little older, I spent all day on the beach and in the water. That order went up to 4.5 pounds. Well, yeah, I could out eat my dad. My mom didn't fry the shrimp. She just boiled them in a big pot of some Old Bay. Oh, I have some of that. After 3 minutes, she drained the pot, covered the kitchen table with newspaper, dumped the shrimp out on the paper. She always had two dipping sauces, classic ketchup-based cocktail sauce, homemade, with a second sauce of garlic, mayo, buttermilk, ketchup, paprika, salt, pepper, sugar. That sounds so good. And he said it was so good. Such good memories. Have a great day. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Moose. That's really kind of cool. That's really cool. All right, one more. I hear we shouldn't play with our food, but we can take pictures of it. Egg roll with sweet dipping sauce. And that looks like a beautiful uncut egg roll. What? No, sorry. Just beautiful egg roll.
I'm
But
just wondering how big was that egg roll?
I don't know.
Because it looks like it could have been like almost like a burrito type egg roll.
Yeah,
Or this could be a little bowl.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
confused. The first thing I say is, where are the other ones? But if
Uh-huh.
this is as big as it looks, maybe they don't need one,
Yeah, maybe not.
But the fry on it's gorgeous.
Did you ever? There was a restaurant. Gosh, I can't remember. It was over in the um, what would you know? It used to be a Lucky. It was over in the La Riviera like shopping center type thing, and they had an egg roll that was about like super sized. I mean, like super big, like three small ones just shoved into one, and it was kind of fried like this, and it was just full of like pork and yumminess. It was so good. So I'm guessing you never saw one of those. Oh, he's just smiling blankly. So, nope,
I
guess
said
not.
no.
All right. Hey, guess what? You can check out all those pictures over at facebook.com/chubsgonewild, where you can also send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com.
Sorry, just bored.
Well, you know, I try to liven up the show for you.
Or wait, 69 Chubs.
And we will catch you next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.